Have you ever stood in front of the pantry thinking, am I actually hungry or do I just want something to munch on? Now in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the difference between cravings and true hunger. And I'll show you how to handle both without feeling like you're constantly fighting yourself. Now hunger is more biological and it's your body's way of signaling to you that you need fuel. And it's often paired with more physical cues such as your stomach growling, which is what the hormone ghrelin is responsible for, low energy, or maybe even difficulty focusing. And true hunger builds up gradually. It doesn't just come out of nowhere. Now, cravings, on the other hand, is more psychological. They're driven by emotion, habit, or environment. Now, I want you to understand that cravings usually hit fast and they're very specific. You typically don't just want food. You want foods like chips, like pizza, like cake, like cookies. That's the first sign to understanding that it's probably a craving. That's how you know it's not usually real hunger, right? Self-awareness is the first step. So here's a simple test that I always like to use. If I were to put a plate of chicken breasts and steamed veggies in front of you and you were able to eat the entire thing and feel satisfied after, you were probably hungry. Same way if I handed you an apple and that sounded appealing to you, that's your body's way of telling you that you need nourishment and you're probably hungry. Now on the other hand, if that same plate sounds unappetizing and the only thing you want is pizza and cake and fries, you're probably just craving something. And being able to pause and notice that difference is huge in terms of you taking back control of your health and fitness. Now, let's break down the three most common triggers when it comes to cravings. We have stress, we have boredom, and we have habit. Okay, so number one, stress cravings. So now when you're stressed, your body is gonna release cortisol, right? That hormone can make you crave ridiculously amounts of high fatty foods, high salty foods, high sugar foods. Pretty much foods that fall under the category called hyperpalatable foods. These type of foods gives you a huge dopamine hit. They typically leave you wanting more. It leaves you unsatisfied after, and more than likely is gonna leave you feeling guilty after because you're gonna end up overeating. Now, the problem with this is that that donut or those bag of chips that you ate isn't gonna fix the stress. It's gonna cause you to easily overeat, it's gonna cause you to crash, and then you're gonna feel worse after. So the way to combat this is instead of immediately reaching for the sweets, try to find ways to reset your nervous system. For example, a simple way you can do this is taking a 5-minute deep breathing exercise. I know it sounds silly, but it's effective. And it's effective because it's gonna help lower your cortisol, your stress hormone. Or maybe you can just go on a short walk, right? Try to get out of the environment where the cravings hit, which is typically in the kitchen. Or try to do a quick stretch or do some mobility work for 2 to 3 minutes. Small actions like that is gonna move you towards progress, right? These little resets is gonna train your brain to try to find other ways to combat that stress instead of turning to food all the time. Now, number two is gonna be a boredom craving. Maybe we're not just stressed, right? Maybe we're just bored. You might be sitting on the couch and you're scrolling on your phone, you're on TikTok, or maybe you're procrastinating work, and then you're thinking to yourself, I kinda want a snack or I need something sweet. But here's the thing, if you weren't hungry before you sat down and now all of a sudden food pops up in your mind, you're not hungry. It's your brain searching for that stimulation. Now, what works for this is distraction, right? Give your brain another source of engagement. Maybe you can go for another quick walk, or maybe you can clean up your bedroom or clean up your bathroom. I'm sure it probably needs a little tidying up anyway, right? Try to dive into a hobby that you love or try to find a new hobby. I've had clients tell me that once they started doing a hobby or an activity that was more engaging, the cravings typically disappeared within 10 to 15 minutes. You have to try to find ways to keep yourself busy. And lastly, number three is gonna be a habit craving. This one is usually tied to a routine. So maybe every time you watch a movie, you might grab popcorn. Or maybe every time you drive home from work, you stop through the drive-thru at McDonald's or Chick-fil-A and you grab something quick to eat, right? This is usually not hunger, it's just conditioning. Now, breaking the habit cravings takes a bit more strategy and a bit more intention. It's usually the hardest for most people. But you have to change your routine. If you're always eating buttery popcorn during a movie, try swapping it out for maybe something lighter or an air-popped popcorn or maybe some sparkling water. Try changing your environment. If you can, don't even shop for the hyperpalatable foods such as the chips, the cakes, the cookies, right? Get it out of your pantry because if you keep it in the house and you keep it in the kitchen, it's going to be very tempting. It's gonna be there calling your name, and then willpower is out the question because you're gonna dive right into it. Right, you know the saying, out of sight, out of mind? This applies. Or another option is you can just change the habit entirely. Instead of snacking, like maybe try stretching while you watch your show, or instead of sitting on the couch, go on your walking pad at a light speed. Even try keeping your hands busy while doing something instead of using your hands to grab the snacks. Because remember, you guys, I want you to understand that food is supposed to be used as fuel for your body, not as a way to fill a void or a gap in your life. I feel like I need to get that plastered on the wall. Now I want you guys to understand the big picture. Cravings isn't bad. Everyone has them, even me. But But if you get into them every single time without stopping to ask yourself, am I truly hungry? That's when the progress stalls, and that's when you end up being stuck. Because there's a lesson to be learned in delaying gratification when it comes to food. It's building up the strength to say no when you've been so used to saying yes your whole life, or maybe just even finding better alternatives. The real win and the first start is building that self-awareness. If you pause and ask yourself, would I eat chicken and veggies right now? Am I stressed, bored, or acting out of habit? You'll be able to start making decisions that are aligned with your goals instead of making decisions based off of emotions. And the more often you practice that pause, the more automatic it's going to become for you to actually make decisions that are aligned with your health and fitness goals, because the biggest thing is alignment. Now, if you found this video helpful, make sure you like and subscribe so that you don't miss the next one. I'll be sharing more practical strategies to help you stay in control of your health and fitness so that you can make decisions that help you look and feel your absolute best. So I'll see you in the next one.